Hey guys, Crypto Sky here, back with another video. Thank you guys for joining. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin white paper, and I've actually made a quick little outline here of a lot of the information from the actual white paper on their website, and then at the bottom of each section I've actually kind of given a quick summary and just my thoughts on what each section of the white paper is actually trying to say. If you guys aren't already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will be bringing weekly crypto content, and I plan on doing a more in-depth video of actually explaining what Bitcoin is and what it does, mainly for beginners, just so people can kind of get their feet wet with crypto and really find out what Bitcoin is. So without any farther ado, let's get into the video. So here it is, the Bitcoin white paper outline by Crypto Scott, obviously. So the idea behind Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic currency that allows online payments to be sent directly from one person to another without the involvement of a third-person party, such as a bank or other financial institution. Excuse me. So Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the creator of Bitcoin, this was his idea behind Bitcoin and what he wanted to accomplish with it. In the white paper, what it basically does, it gives a general idea of what Bitcoin is and explains the process of Bitcoin and how it works. And it's listed into different sections. And the first section is the actual introduction. And I have some quotes here from the actual white paper. So anything you see in quote marks is from the white paper, word for word, and anything in bold is just my personal thoughts. So it talks about no mechanism exists to make payments over a communications channel without a trusted party. And what Satoshi believes is needed is an electronic payment system where no third parties are involved. So think about it. If you buy something off Walmart online, you have to go through PayPal or go through a certain payment system that processes the payment and so on. Or if you're sending money to a friend, you send it through PayPal, Cash App, whatever you guys have. There's always a third party involved. So the idea behind Bitcoin is to remove this third party when you're making electronic transactions. So section number 2 actually talks about the transactions and how they work. So we define an electronic coin as a chain of digital signatures, and this begins to talk about the blockchain and what it actually does. And each owner can transfer its coin to the next by digitally signing a hash of the previous transaction and the public key of the next owner and adding these to the end of the coin. So basically, a person can check the electronic signature or address to make sure the payment is being sent to the correct person and vice versa. So a common solution is to introduce a trusted central authority, or mint, that checks every transaction for double spending. So people can't spend more than they have or actually run the transaction twice. And after each transaction, the coin must be returned to the mint to issue a new coin. And only coins issued directly from the mint are trusted not to be double spent. But the problem with this, solution is that the fate of the entire money system depends on the company running the mint, with every transaction having to go through them just like a bank. So this is talking about a system like PayPal or like Cash App. You're putting your money and you're putting your money in their hands. So it talks about how we need, something to solve this, and basically Bitcoin nodes, which is computers, actually solve complicated algorithms, and whichever computer solves them the fastest and keeps getting the correct answer, those are the transactions that end up reaching the server first and is then marked as the official and only transaction. So and here's a little picture just so you guys can kind of get an idea in your head, maybe if you're a visual learner, as to what is really going on. And if you guys are interested in this document, drop a comment below in the comment section. Just drop your email and I will share this document with you in case you guys want to maybe read over it for yourself or share it with a friend. If you have friends interested, you can share this video. But just drop your email in the comment section if you are if you're interested. So the third section is the timestamp server and what it does. So basically what the timestamp server does is it receives the solutions and it provides the correct information to find out which transaction was successfully completed first, and it then builds on the previous transactions, forming a chain. And this is what we today call the blockchain. And here's another little image here just showing you the hash, and you can see how it forms a chain and continuously will chain up to the previous one. So section 4 is proof of work. For our timestamp network, we implement the proof of work by incriminating a nonce in the block until a value is found that gives the block's hash the required 0 bits. Once the CPU effort has been extended to make it satisfy the proof of work, the block cannot be changed without redoing the work. As later blocks are chained after it, the work to change the block would include redoing all the blocks after it. So basically what this is saying is to change a transaction, you would have to literally change all the transactions before it. And this is nearly impossible, especially with today's technology. It pretty much is impossible to have the actual computer power to go back and change every single block, every single transaction before one that's being completed today. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is very safe and it's nearly impossible to hack, because of the actual blockchain technology. So section number 5 is the actual network, and the steps to run the network are as follows. New transactions are broadcasted to all nodes. Each node collects new transactions into a block, and each node then works on finding a difficult proof of work for its block. When a node finds a proof of work, it broadcasts the block to all nodes. Then nodes accept this block only if all transactions in it are valid and not already spent. And then lastly, nodes express their acceptance of the block by working on creating the next block in the chain, using the hash of the accepted block as the previous hash. So basically what this is saying is nodes solve proof of work problems, or like mentioned earlier, very complicated algorithms to find out which transaction is correct. And the longest and transaction that reaches the overall nodes the fastest are then considered the correct transaction amount. So incentive, section 6 is incentive, and this actually explains Bitcoin mining and why it is important. And it talks about how the first transaction in a block is a special transaction that starts a new coin owned by the creator of the block. This adds an incentive for nodes to support the network and provide a way to initially distribute coins into circulation, since there's no central authority to issue them. So there's not just a magical guy issuing bitcoins out. Like Satoshi Nakamoto is not just sitting at his crib throwing bitcoins at people. The problems that are solved and these nodes are actually, and the blocks are actually being created, which it actually creates parts of Bitcoin, creates Bitcoin. So the steady addition of a constant amount of new coins is analogous to gold miners expending resources to add gold to circulation. In our case, it is CPU time and electricity that is expended. So it compares this to real-life mining for gold. A miner has to have resources and spends time and energy to actually mine gold, where Bitcoin, the computer, is actually spending its time and its energy to mine Bitcoin. So section 7 is reclaiming disk space. Once the latest transaction in a coin is buried under enough blocks, the spent transactions before it can be discarded to save disk space. And this is very important so it doesn't get too bulky or too slow, the actual blockchain. To facilitate this without breaking the block's hash, transactions are hashed in a Merkle tree with only the root included in the block's hash. Old blocks can then be compacted by stubbing off branches of the tree. The interior hashes do not need to be stored. And it gives us a little diagram of what is actually going on right here. So basically it trims a tree. Like you would trim a tree in your yard if it's overgrown, maybe it's grown too close to your house, or for whatever reason you want to trim it. You trim the branches off, but you leave the root there. So that's basically what's happening here. And section 8 is simplified payment verification. And this really just describes the payment verification system, and it talks about how it's very hard for hackers to actually complete the transactions before the actual nodes complete the transactions. And section 9 is combining and splitting value, and basically this just says bitcoins can actually be split into smaller amounts. Obviously you can buy like 0.5 bitcoin, 0.7, you know, whatever you want, 0.001 bitcoin. You can buy whatever you want, so they can be split into smaller amounts, and this derives from the bitcoins actually being mined and not being issued. So section 10 is privacy. The traditional banking model achieves a level of privacy by limiting access to information to the parties involved in the trusted third party. The necessity to announce all transactions publicly precludes this message, but privacy can still be maintained by breaking the flow of information in another place, by keeping public keys anonymous. So basically what this is saying is the public can see how much Bitcoin is being transferred. However, they can only see a public address. They do not know who the Bitcoin is being sent to and or from. So you can literally go online and see blockchain transactions and see Bitcoin transactions, and when you complete a transaction through Coinbase or something, you can actually track the status of it if, say, you're sending your Bitcoin to an exchange. But you just see the public addresses. If I were to send Bitcoin to my friend, the public would have no clue that it was me sending the Bitcoin. They would see my public address, but they would not see who it actually is. And this just reverts back to privacy. So calculations, basically all it talks about is the probability of an attacker being able to alter the blockchain, and basically it says it's near impossible. It's close to as impossible as you can get, and it literally has a picture of a huge calculus looking equation. You know, most people probably are not interested in the actual equation. And moving on to section 12, the last section, which is actually the conclusion. We have proposed a system for electronic transactions without relying on trust. We started with the usual framework of coins made from digital signatures, which provides strong control of ownership, but is incomplete without a way to prevent double spending. To solve this, we proposed a peer-to-peer network using proof of work to record a public history of transactions that quickly becomes impractical for an attacker to change if honest nodes control a majority of the CPU power. The network is robust in its unstructured simplicity. Nodes work all at once with little coordination. They do not need to be identified since messages are not routed to any particular place and only need to be delivered on a best effort basis. Nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will, accepting the proof of work chain as proof of what happened while they were gone. They vote with their CPU power, expressing their acceptance of valid blocks, by working on extending them and rejecting invalid blocks by refusing to work on them. Any needed rules and incentives can be enforced with this consensus mechanism. So in conclusion, Bitcoin is an electronic currency to complete transactions without involving a third party, such as a bank. Bitcoin uses digital signatures to provide proof of ownership for the coins. Bitcoin also keeps a public record of transactions known as the blockchain. This prevents an attacker from being able to alter transactions. Basically, he would need to alter all the transactions before as well, which is impractical and basically impossible with today's technology. Bitcoin mining rigs solve difficult problems to compete the transactions. Bitcoin is also private, with the public only being able to see the public address of the sender and receiver. Thank God for Satoshi. So this is the outline, guys, and here's the actual link to the original Bitcoin white paper. And you guys can just get a quick look here. I'll leave the link to the original white paper in the description. Here's the I guess that's calculus. I honestly don't know, but here's the equation right here. So if you guys are interested, make sure to, like I said, drop a comment and drop your email below in the comments, and I will share this with you so you can actually view it and share it with your friends. If you guys have made it to the end of the video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me out. I'll have a lot more crypto videos coming for you guys soon. I'm already working on another video. I just wanted to get this up for you guys. I thought it was a cool little video that you guys might enjoy. So anyway, that's all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Have a great day.